They have relationships across the country with tens of millions of customers. If you talk about customer relation management, the lifetime value of customers, they've got that. And they have proven to themselves, they have surprised and shocked themselves of how inelastic newspaper pricing is. You can charge a lot more. One little truth we uncover in this, the same thing is true of magazines, is that these products were way underpriced for a very long time. And that a lot of the carnage of those 17,000 jobs that are lost in American newsrooms could have been saved if these kinds of systems were put in place earlier. But we can't go back. How does a paywall work in terms of the business model? It's what I call a 3% solution. When I describe this to journalists at the beginning, they'd say 3%, that sounds like a bad number. That's a really small number, which tells you something about the financial literacy of too many business journalists. And I'd say, well, depends what the 3% is. What 3% of what number? So when you look at it, I'm going to go back here for a minute. If you look at the New York Times, for instance, New York Times has about 32 million unique visitors a month in the US. You multiply, let's take 30, multiply that by 3%, it's 900,000. And so I said when the Times wall went up, or their metered wall went up, I said if they could get to 900,000 at about 3%, that will be a very successful venture. And this is where the journalist said, oh, that's a small number. And I said, it sounds like a small number, but 900,000 just coincidentally is about the number of print readers they have. So even if you go back to pre-digital times and the time circulation was actually higher, it was always a small segment of the populace who paid for the New York Times. In local cities, it varied by percentage. It could be from basically 30 to 50% of the households. But it's always a minority of the households. The difference on the web is anybody can sit at a computer, type in a URL, and get something. So the fact that you have a unique visitor is absolutely meaningless. And I compare it to if you were standing in downtown Reno and the wind came up and the paper blew by and you caught a page. You know, would you call yourself a newspaper reader? Would somebody call you that? No. But on the web, if you type in a URL one time in a month, you're counted as a unique visitor.